Nelson Mandela Bay Mayor Retief Odendaal has called for a drought crisis public meeting where he will be speaking to business owners and others over this crisis in the NMB area. The mayor also wants to engage with water consumers. These are residents from areas that have been flagged as red zones. Let's get more from our reporter Siphosethu Booi, who's live from Summerstrand in Nelson Mandela Bay. Siphosethu, let's start with the extent of the drought in NMB, because it's been a few years now where water availability has been a problem.
Definitely, Tembegile, and you will recall just last year, early last year rather, just before July, Nelson Mandela Bay was also labelled as a city that could face day zero, and now this created a sense of fear as far as residents were concerned, including business owners in Nelson Mandela Bay, because now this is not only going to affect the residents, but it will also affect the economy of Nelson Mandela Bay. So I see today the mayor Retief Odendaal has, of course, invited stakeholders, business owners, including the residents of Nelson Mandela Bay, particularly the group that has been listed as the red zone areas, like you mentioned, Tembegile. Now, these include Central, Summerstrand, Fairview, KwaZakele, New Brighton, just to name a few of those areas. And now also, I'm quite interested in also wanting to find out also what really what could I say, accelerated the issue of the mayor now wanting to come face to face and actually sit down with the residents and try and find out what exactly is it that the municipality can do to also just send out the message, Tembegile, of trying to make sure that the residents use the restricted number of water per day that the municipality has ordered the residents, including business stakeholders, to use per day, which is of course 230 megalitres. But from what we understand is that that capacity also is taking its strain, because we remember just the month end of January, we visited the Churchill Dam, and the situation there is not looking good, Tembegile. And as predicted by officials, of course, to the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality, by July, Nelson Mandela Bay will face day zero. There's a possibility, allegedly, that that situation could actually happen this year. So I'm interested in wanting to find out also from the side of the businesses how their businesses have been suffering. You will recall also the country, as it stands, is facing load shedding. So Nelson Mandela Bay now adds to the issue of drought in this area. So that also plays a significant role in also affecting schools, including businesses in and around the area of Abeja, Tembegile. So we are expecting those engagements to start at 6 p.m. this evening here in Summerstrand, Tembegile.
And while all of that is going on, lack of rain, lack of water in Nelson Mandela Bay, but in other parts of the Eastern Cape, people there have had too much rain.
And of course, now it also raises the issue of the State of the Province address that will be held on Friday. That's where we'll be hearing from the Premier and in terms of some of the implementation plans they'll have for those residents of Komani and also surrounding areas that were faced with floods, Tembegile, because now we also in a situation at a point where this particular metro has been at a situation that's quite compromising as far as the residents are concerned, including business owners. As far as the issue of this drought, could this be also pushed back? Could this be a situation that could have been controlled had good implementation plans been in place and were implemented 5 years ago, Tembegile? Those are some of the questions that we will be finding out from the mayor, and also just preparing us moving forward from this year, which is 2023, to the next 5 years. Are there plans in place so that if a situation like this actually happens, what could be done to try and push back? And also considering the fact that many residents in the Eastern Cape Province, particularly Nelson Mandela Bay as well, are unemployed. Some are already losing their jobs due to load shedding. So the issue of this drought crisis could add more strain to businesses if there's no water, and also the issue of load shedding. Then that means that many more other residents will then be left stranded as far as jobs are concerned, which then will increase the number of crimes. As you know, Nelson Mandela Bay has also issued about 4 police stations and areas in the Eastern Cape where crime is quite rapid, and we see seeing a number of shootings as well. So the issue of load shedding, the issue of unemployment is also one to look out for, and these are also some of the areas that the Nelson Mandela Bay Mayor will speak to us about, including the State of the Province address that is due to take place on Friday, Thembekile, as a plan of what is actually going to be expected and will happen for the Nelson Mandela Bay region, and also just the Eastern Cape as a whole, including the people of Komani and surrounding areas who were also victims of these floods quite recently in the Eastern Cape. Booi,
thank you very much for that update from Nelson Mandela Bay tonight.